Hello and welcome to Whitby. Today I'm going to be going over the pros and cons of living here in Whitby. So if you're looking to move here and you want to know the good and the bad, this video will uncover that. I cover off pretty much what it's like to eat, sleep, play, live, everything right here. So if you are looking to move here, you can make a proper informed decision. Be sure to subscribe to the channel, like the video, comment, all that fun stuff. It will help my channel grow, but then it also helps you stay informed with videos as I do release them. I have helped so many people looking to move here and I absolutely love it. So if you're looking for that help when you're moving to Whitby, all you have to do, call, text, email, send a carrier pigeon, whatever is easiest for you, and I'll be more than happy to help with that. So let's just get into the video. We will start with our pros. Our first pro has to do with proximity to Toronto. So if you are looking to move somewhere that you can still commute to Toronto if you wanted to, this is the place because you are on a GO train line and you can drive. So you have GO train, which can take you there in about 50 minutes. You have the 401, which on a good day is 45 minutes to Union Station. On a bad day, it's 2 hours. So definitely is good to be close. So if you have sporting events or work or festivals that are going on, you're close so you can still enjoy it, but you don't have to live right downtown Toronto. And yeah, that's our first pro. Our second pro has to do with the schools. So if you have kids and you're looking somewhere that you have a good schooling system, Whitby is good for that. On average, the rankings in Whitby are, I believe, second highest within the Durham region. Pickering was #1. But so you do have that. Schools on average are good within Whitby. And you're also, if you're moving somewhere where you have kids that are going to be going to post-secondary schools, you are kind of in a close proximity to that as well. With Oshawa alone, which is a 15-minute drive, you are close to Ontario Tech University, you're close to Durham College, and then there are remote campuses there as well, where you have Queen's University remote campus, Trent University remote campus, and then you have the flight school, which is out of the Oshawa airport. So those are all the schools within Durham that are here. And then you go to Toronto and you have Centennial College, Humber College, University of Toronto, York University. So there's so much schools that are all within like a commuting distance. So yeah, the schooling system within Whitby is very good, and that's a big pro. So if you're looking to move here, the schools will not disappoint you. Luckily, Fraser Institute is updating the school rankings this year. I don't know when, I'm waiting because I need a video to update because the last ranking was in 2019. So yeah, the school systems within Whitby, huge pro. Let's keep going. Our next pro has to do with Whitby being just a scenic beauty. So you have Lake Ontario behind me. This beach is rock, so that's my kind of beach. I'm not a huge fan of sand. So yeah, you have Lake Ontario behind. You have the beach where we are right now, and the nice thing about this beach is you don't have any power plants like the Pickering beach, or you have salt marina type thing within Oshawa. So it's a waterfront that it's really nice. And then you can just see like a waterfront with the park, big fields, stuff like that. This here is a Friday afternoon, and it is busy here. So the Scenic Beauty is really good. This is the waterfront, but then you have two conservation areas. You have Lynn Shores, and then you also have Heber Down. So those are two conservation areas if you're into more of the just the conservation type area. But if you are looking for a waterfront, this is good. This one has park, splash pad, a whole bunch of just different stuff like that where you can come here and spend a few hours. So that's this pro. Our next pro has to do with community involvement. So you'll notice within Whitby, they'll have places like the waterfront where they'll have activities, stuff for the family that's kind of advertised. So you just got to keep an eye in terms of the Whitby website, stuff like that. But then you'll also have different things. Iroquois Sportsplex, they have a lot there where it would be like a rib fest or a food truck festival. Those are super cool things that gather a lot of attention at those places. So it's nice to be a part of an involvement for the community. You go downtown Whitby, and then they extend the patios to you know, encourage people to kind of go and be outside, stuff like that, and that's what you really want. So this pro has to do with the community involvement. Our final pro has to do with the housing market in Whitby, the real estate market, whatever you want to call it. It has remained kind of consistent. So obviously in 2022, the earlier parts of that year, things went extremely high and homes in Whitby were selling for much more than they are now. But if you look at where house prices are now compared to where they were, and then you compare that to other cities, I just kind of noticed that the demand within Whitby has still kind of remained strong, which is a good thing. If you're looking to move somewhere, having a strong real estate market, regardless of the factors controlling the supply and demand and everything like that, you want people to move to that area. And Whitby kind of remained that. Obviously there weren't as many buyers moving here, but the market had remained strong. So that's kind of good if you are looking to move to Whitby. Pretty big pro, and it's our final one. Let's get to the negatives of Whitby. Our first con has to do with commuting. So commutability to Toronto is a pro in itself, but when you factor in the 401 and having to drive downtown Toronto, it's a pretty big con. You could be as simple as a 45-minute drive with no traffic, or it can sit there and during a traffic jam, it can be like 2 hours, even longer. Even sometimes like an hour and a half, but still you're dealing with the 401 and the Don Valley Parkway and then the Gardner Expressway, 3 highways that can be very congested. And then you have GO train accessibility. Unfortunately, it's not on the express, so you do have the stops from Whitby all the way into Union, so it's about 50 minutes from door to door from the Whitby GO station at Brock Road to Union Station. But yeah, dealing with the commutability of it, 401 is a huge con. But then the positive is the GO train. So just that's that con. This con has to do with the cost of living. So why am I in a marina? Well, if you've ever owned a boat, you'll know that the cost of owning a boat is very high. So it's only relevant to do this in a marina. But yeah, the cost of living in Whitby, I do find to be high. Property taxes, extremely. We pay over 10 grand a year in property taxes, where if the same house was in Toronto, it would probably be around 5,500. But the house prices are a lot more in Toronto, so I guess it balances out. So property tax in Durham as a whole is very high. Sports programs within Whitby, you'll notice that if you look at like a swimming class that's in Whitby and then you do that same swimming class but in Oshawa, you'll notice that it's almost like half the price. I found that with hockey in Whitby, they wanted like $600. I found a place in Oshawa that would do it and it was like $200. So it's like, that's one thing I find, just the cost of living in Whitby to be a little higher. So that's this con. Our next con has to do with the weather. So it can be some pretty harsh winters here. So if you are looking to move here from outside of Ontario, that's just something that you're going to want to pay attention to. The weather is harsh during the winter. So maybe if you're moving here, come in the summer or the spring, that way you can kind of ease into the winter. So it starts getting really cold, I would say November until about March, then things kind of change. So if you're moving to Canada, avoid those months because it could be extremely cold. We've had snowstorms where it's like 3 feet of snow. I've been outside for like the entire day, snow blowing my driveway, the sidewalk, and then I've been helping people because I like snow blowing the driveways anyway, so it's kind of like a win-win. So yeah, just to brace yourself for the harsh weather. But again, if you're moving anywhere within Ontario, you're going to have that happen pretty much anywhere. So it's just something to pay attention to. Our next con has to do with limited transportation. So we have pretty much the Durham Region Transit, which is the busing system. And then you have the GO train. So you have GO and the DRT. So if you are moving from somewhere like Toronto, you're going to deal with a lot less transportation, because Toronto, you have the subway, the streetcars, and then you have the GO. So you have so much more accessibility. Here, you're kind of restricted to the Durham Region Transit. So if you're moving here, you're going to want to be close to the bus stops. But then one thing that they've kind of done to combat this a little bit is they have started introducing a lot of these scooters where you can rent the scooter and you just kind of leave it at the wherever you stopped using it. So I think that's kind of neat, but we are kind of restricted on the transit. So let's move on to our next con. This con has to do with the development. So it's a positive to have a place like Whitby being developed, but it is a negative that you're gonna have like construction, and there's gonna be a lot of it. And what happens typically, fields that get taken over, all of the field, like mice and rats and stuff like that, they will go to try and escape that, and they'll go to neighboring homes. Plus it's just constantly dirt and dusty and all that kind of stuff. Plus, if the infrastructure of the main roads isn't built up properly, you'll just deal with a lot of traffic that's excess that they didn't plan for. So development is a huge positive, but it does have its negatives, and that's what these cons are focused on. Well, that was the video. I hope you enjoyed the pros and cons with Whitby. Hopefully I didn't scare you away from Whitby. It is a good area to live. I've lived here for going on 4 years now, and we have a lot of good stuff to say about Whitby as a whole, but there were the things that I did mention as the cons, which were things that just I didn't like at all. I've helped so many people looking to move to the Durham region, and I've absolutely loved that. So if you you are looking to move here and you want that help, all you have to do is call, text, email, send the carrier pigeon, whatever is easiest for you. And I'm just here to make everything go so much easier. I do have a ton of videos on my website, so if you are looking at more information, feel free to watch all of those, and subscribe to the channel if you do want to get up to date with what's going on in the Durham region. And then comment, like the video. It helps YouTube push my videos out in front of other people as well. Thanks for watching, and until next time.